Hi, my name is Angela Salmon, and I'm an educator that works in Vernon, BC. I've been working in BC for about 18 years, and I have worked in 2 different school districts while I've worked here. I'm going to take you through the different educational roles I have played throughout my career to get to where I am now. As a student, I was eager. I liked to learn, and I liked to get good grades. I loved the challenge of learning, and I didn't give a lot of thought to curricular frameworks. I found myself questioning my teachers if I felt like instruction was unnecessary or if assessment seemed unfair. I hated it when I got to class and I could tell that my teacher just hadn't planned very well for the day and we were given busy work to do. I think I colored more than I learned in grade 8 social studies, but at least I've learned to stay within the lines now. My grandmother once said that an education was wasted on the young, and I did not take that statement well. I felt like I made the most of my years as a student and hated the thought of others thinking that it went to waste. I was going to make the most of it and learn whatever I could in the time that I had. As a classroom teacher, I spent a lot of years bouncing around to different positions, teaching on call and teaching in temporary positions. I learned great instructional techniques and was quick on my feet, but lacked experience in getting to plan for the long term or in applying assessment techniques and practices. When I did get my own classroom, I often only taught the class for 1 semester or year and didn't get the chance to hone my practice after trying things once. I really enjoyed trying to personalize learning for each of my students, but the curricular framework at the time didn't really lend itself to that kind of teaching practice. A list of prescribed learning outcomes for each course and student assessment communicated through letter grades based on assignment marks were the practice of the day. It didn't fit with my learning philosophy or teaching philosophy, but I didn't have much chance to try and work around those parameters. For a little while, I had the opportunity to work on a temporary contract within a special education classroom. It was called the Vocations Program, and it was designed for students who wouldn't graduate with a standard diploma based on the completion of the prescribed curriculum, but rather their learning was personalized and based on each student's needs with the idea of giving them a set of skills that would allow them to each be successful in their own life path, whatever that may have been. This was something that I was really drawn to. The planning of this program was really flexible. Students could take elective classes with their peers, be taught in a small group setting to acquire real-life literacy and numeracy skills that they might need, and be taught life skills like cooking and job skills that might support them after they graduated. As the teacher, I got to create the curricular framework for each student individually and to set expectations as a class. This prompted me to take my postgraduate diploma in inclusive education and to move forward in my career in the realm of special education. Going back to school as a graduate student was really fantastic. I found that I am a lifelong learner, and I loved how applicable the learning was in my program. The curricular framework and assessment was really beneficial to the work I was doing. The job has been rewarding, challenging, and innovative. This process is inquiry-based, and assessment is personalized for each student and ongoing, which I really, really loved. Last year, I took the opportunity to apply for a position as a vice principal, and I got the job. Considering the role of planning, instruction, and assessment from the role of an administrator has been really eye-opening. Getting the opportunity to see the functionality of the classrooms in my school from this perspective only re-highlights the importance that planning, instruction, and assessment plays in quality educational experiences. BC has been in the process of implementing a new curricular framework that places more importance on curricular competencies, teaching students to know, do, and understand rather than just on prescribed learning outcomes and content-based knowledge. The curricular framework came before the changes in assessment practices, and it was clear that it was difficult to change one without implementing changes in the other. Some teachers have been stuck in old practices because their planning and instruction was driven by their assessment practices. Other teachers embraced and invented new ways to assess based on ideas within the new curriculum of personalized learning and teaching students how to do something rather than just teaching them content. Helping teachers to implement the new curriculum and introducing the new assessment practices has been very rewarding for me. I'm in the position of being able to see the big picture and how changes in curriculum really impact students' learning and their educational experience. Teachers have to let go of their past practice to embrace this new framework. I was able to teach part-time last year as well, so it was a fun challenge to implement these things for myself in my own classroom. I found the process of planning, instruction, and assessment really went hand in hand. It's an exciting time in BC, and I hope that the content of this course will really help me to move my school forward at this time of change with a greater understanding of the integration of planning, instruction, and assessment within various curricular frameworks.